On this episode of No Show Prep Book Reviews, we're discussing Grave Peril, written by Jim Butcher and read by James Marsters. This is the third book in the Dresden Files series. This book is about 12 hours long.
So I just finished Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. It is the third book in the Dresden Files. This is really where most fans feel like the series starts. Book 3, Dresden series. Jim Butcher, same reader. I'm not going to talk about how great the reader is, James Marsters, because we know. I'm just going to go straight into the quotes. Let's hop in, get those out the way, then we'll jump into how much everything changes. So my favorite quote, Harry Dresden looks over to Michaels and says, "Logic and reason. Michael, we left Reason and Sanity Junction a long time ago. Next stop, Looneyville." Then he says, "I'm amazingly studly, but I have limits." We both ran and got in the Blue Beetle. He got in the red door. I got in the white one.
Yeah.
Don't yada 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 the Lord, Harry. Disrespect. Holy shit, hellhounds! Michael says. "Harry, you know I hate it when you swear. I'm sorry, Michael. Holy shit, heckhounds!"
Heckhounds. Man, I've been looking forward to this book. I wish I had my Harry Dresden cosplay all worked out. I have nothing, yet, because one of my favorite scenes of the book series is in this book when they're in the room with the babies, and the ghost has put them all to sleep, and Harry's going to bind her, and he's, and I can just picture him, man. He's got like his, staff, and he's saying, "Agatha Hagglethorne, I command thee," or "I call thee," and then he's like, "Agatha Hagglethorne, I command thee."
Yeah. I like when he's describing what he's got going on. And he says he's got the blasting rod in one hand, backpack in the other. Uranium dust is in the pouch hanging out of his mouth. And he's like, "Please don't trip. Please don't trip. Please don't trip." Like, so funny.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. Probably my last quote. Harry says, "There should be some kind of rule against having to kill anything more than once." So this book is about Agatha Hagglethorne is a ghost. She's in the first couple of chapters. No prowers. Don't worry, guys. They take care of her quick and easy. But this is about the world of the dead. It's the premise of the book. So much happens in this book, Ted. So much. Let's just quickly run over the new characters that are not going anywhere in the series.
All right.
How do we forget about his fairy godmother, the beautiful Leanne Shee? She'll take your firstborn child for anything you want, if you're interested. Anyways, amazing character. I love her character growth as the series goes on, but all we need to know for now is she wants to turn Harry into a dog. I mean, a hound. However you want to spin it. He made a deal with her as a child. Let's just say around 18, not a child. And he has not lived up to his end of the bargain. Second major character, the major character, Michael Carpenter, Knight of the Sword. That's right. Knight, as in that kind of knight. Sword has a nail from the crucifixion, capital C, engraved in it. There are 3 swords. They all fight for truth, justice, and for the white god, or the religious god. And they're there to take on the fallen angels, which we have not yet met with yet, but we know that they're coming, or we've not have met Michael Carpenter. His sword lives in danger at all times, especially when Harry's holding it. Bianca comes back in this episode. We meet the Black Court. We meet Thomas Wraith and find out about the White Court. Bob is a major player in this one, the Skull. I think that is all the characters. I could be wrong. That's a bunch.
It is a bunch, and you're right. It really adds a lot of layers to this onion. Just adding a Black and White Court. We got Thomas now. We got a brother, Michael Carpenter. We got a friend.
Yep. You just gave away like half. Just gave away like 6 books there.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
You said we got Thomas.
They're like fighting, man. They start off, they're riding around in cars together at the beginning of this book.
What's up?
Michael and Harry, they're riding around in a car.
No. One before that. You said we got Thomas.
No, well, so okay, but Thomas is his brother, half brother.
We don't know any of that yet.
Well, we do now.
We don't find that out for 4 books now. Spoilers everywhere. It's okay.
Look, if you're into our book series is here, you're in for this for the long haul.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we find out about the Black Court, and we find out all kinds of things. So, if you're reading this, we're gonna go out of order on this. This is a big time book. Read it, enjoy it. Spoilers are everywhere on this book. The first thing is Harry gets duped. Harry gets duped from the beginning. Everything from this book all led up to Harry starting a war between the courts. And Harry falls for it. Harry makes a horrible mistake. He dies doing the right thing. That to me is that sentence sums up the entire series. And the series is basically him trying to live up to what is written on his headstone. And in this one, Harry finally lets loose. Jim Butcher finally gives Harry the power he's supposed to have as a wizard. I mean, he kills hundreds of people in this because he has the same fear the rest of us have. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out, but I'm not going by myself. And Harry releases hell on earth on an entire building and kills people, vampires alike.
Mainly vampires.
Mainly vampires. And the people could have already been dead. Maybe. Don't know. And then he does it again a couple chapters later when he kills Bianca and a whole bunch of other vampires. I didn't realize Duke Ortega was in this one. He makes a quick, brief appearance. And a real-life dragon is in this one. I also didn't realize that the reason the dragon didn't get involved is because the fairy godmother, he makes the comment that Leah is holding the arm of the dragon. And we don't realize it, but she is holding him down so he will not defend the vampires because he is obligated to do so under the rights of hospitality. But Leah is restraining his fight. That's something we don't even notice.
And I love Jim Butcher for this. These books are just so layered. There's so much going on, and it continues to go on. Some things you don't know, like you said, until you go back and read it again. And like,
yeah,
I totally missed that. You know, why it wasn't that up front in the beginning? Right.
Who else? There was another character that he sees that Thomas points out to him that we don't meet for like 4 more books. It doesn't matter. It's just him. It just shows that Jim Butcher had an outline from the first book, probably more like this book, all the way until 4 books from where we're at right now. And he's just weaving the characters throughout to build more depth.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry finds out Harry's girl gets turned into a vampire, a half vampire. And the book ends with, he finds out that there's a war going on that he caused. And he's going to be called to task for it in the next book. He created a war. He fell for the mistake. It's all on his hands. All he had to do was let his girlfriend die and a bunch of innocent people. And he wouldn't do it. And my favorite line in the book is when Duke Ortega says, "You would start a war that has been avoided for 1,000 years for the life of one innocent person." And he says with the crazy grin on his face, "If you were ever going to start a war, you just listed the reason why we should. If not for one innocent person, why else?" And he says that he released fire and brimstone on them all and burned them down. And man, you have said more times than I can count, Jim Butcher makes Harry Dresden out to be an atheist. Not an atheist. He knows God exists. He just isn't a follower of Christ. He all but quotes so much scripture. If not for one, then what is it for? He is literally talking about the parable where the shepherd leaves the flock to save the one. And there's so many times that he uses scripture. And this one he quotes Proverbs like 3 times. And Michael calls him and says, man, he says, you quote the Bible all the time. He said, well, me and Proverbs just seem to always have something in common. And yeah. And it's just not even trying to bring that into it, but it is so interesting because he ties faith into this deeply. He talks about that the chaplain Father Fort Hill prays for him. He said he can feel the power wrap around him. He hears Michael pray, and he can feel the power of Michael stretch. Not his power, but his power. At one point, Charity Carpenter, Michael's wife, she's about to have a baby. She's fighting the demon. And the demon goes to kill her. And she pulls up her crucifix. And it illuminates light with more light and more power than Amaracus, the sword designed to fight evil. Because her faith is stronger in that one article than the demon's power. And it is interesting because when these events happen, at this point, Harry has not even showed his strength yet. And I don't think it's an accident that our author is writing these events in the order they go. Because he wants to show you how powerful the artifacts are of the church versus Harry Dresden's considered one of the strongest wizards in the world.
Yeah.
He's in the top 5.
I don't know. I don't know that our author's a Christian or not. I've never met him. He doesn't really seem to show it in his work, but I think he'd be a fool to leave out. He'd be a fool to leave out the whole ideas though behind the power of
It's interesting the way he put it in there. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree. He's definitely a very well trained and very talented writer.
Very well. So this is a major book. This starts the series. This enters you into the vampire. Next 4 or 5 books are about vampires. And if you're into vamps, if you've always wanted to know the inner workings of the different types, if you're saying, Jason, there's not different types, there are in this book.
I agree, man. This really kicks it off. You're right. I mean, the first 2 books, the first book was a college project that was in rechanged to be published. And the second book was, hey, that was kind of fun. Let's try it again. But I think he really realized the seriousness of and the ability of this series to make money and to be sold. And it was something that people wanted. I can't imagine creating something that millions of people are asking for more of. Like they just want more of this world. And it was just something that you imagined up while sitting on a can. You can't imagine.
Yeah. What do you have next on the horizon, Ted?
I'm reading Skippy. I'm reading Columbus Day.
Okay.
The Expeditionary Force series. I don't know the name of the author, but it's pretty good. You could read The Nowhere Man. We haven't started that.
Oh, yes. I will definitely. Man, I love Orphan X.
Orphan X, yes.
All right, you got it.
First 3 books, they're just so good.
They are.
And the last book, the cliffhanger.
So guys, you know what we're talking about, but like literally, there should be like 12 books left in the chat, 12 chapters left in the book, and it just says the end.
Oh.
Like I was cooking dinner, didn't even occur to me to check how much time was left in the book because he's in the middle of a paragraph. The end. I called Ted almost like, what just happened? What's going on? Yeah. But anyways, yeah, man. Check it out, please. Give us suggestions on books you want us to read. Your friend Steve gave us a suggestion. We've got to get that book.
Yeah, I've actually done a little more background reading. I really think this is going to be a good one. I've got it still on my phone. Steve, I promise we haven't forgotten. It's called Inherit the Stars by James Hogan. It's a series. It's older sci-fi. It's not a new book.
That's okay.
Oh wow. It was copywritten the same year I was born. But it's amazing the reviews I've read. People have said that this really, and some of the reviews have been written by astronauts. I said that reading this
Really?
book just encouraged their love into science and exploration. It's really amazing. I can't wait to get into it.
I got super news for you.
Yeah.
Inherit the Stars by James Hogan
Yep.
included inside of our.
Hey, even better. Yeah. Download that, baby.
Downloading it right now.
Even better.
I think I've got a new one. I'm just gonna go with that.
All right.
Sweet. The name of the series is Giants.
So, guys, we don't know how to end a video. We were only talking about books, and we just completely forgot to sign off again on our video. So we have more book reviews coming up. If you heard the last few minutes there, we're reading, we were reading across a spectrum of years and authors and genres. We got more coming. And we've got more in the past. Please check out our other book reviews. And we have a weekly show. We'd like to have you. Please hit like and subscribe if you would. And tell your friends about it. Share. We'll see you next time. Thank you.